Before we start in my section of the presentation, I want to take 45 seconds and put on my School of Journalism director's hat and tell you how incredibly proud and fortunate we are to have Rosenthal as a member of our faculty. He is in his 20th year as a professor, going stronger than ever. We thank you for all you do for us, including being the heart, soul, and brains of the best online journalism conference in the world. So thank you. All right, back to the topic at hand. I'm going to show about a 3-minute video that takes you step by step through the tool we've been developing here over about the last 6 months, thanks in large part to a prototype fund grant from the Knight Foundation. But first, I want to set it up briefly. Just over a year ago, the Washington Post, where I used to work as an editor, approached me and asked if UT would like to work with the Post on virtual reality and 360 video stories. I immediately said yes, and we put together a really interesting multidisciplinary team. Our team includes journalism students, film students, computer science and engineering students, and we're fortunate to have on campus a VR lab. We assembled the team, started working. I sent out a tweet earlier today. It's at RB Brenner on Twitter. That is a link to a landing page, and you can see the stories we've done. We did a VR build of a Mars experience with the Washington Post, and we've done a couple of 360 videos, including one when the Pope celebrated Mass at the border of in Juarez, and one at the Iowa caucus that we did on deadline and turned around in about an hour or so. So in the process of doing that work, we started to have conversations where journalists like myself, I'm a journalist, not an engineer, and we began to understand the complexity of Unity 3D game engine or Unreal, and it was like, sobering for me, because we might be able to figure out as journalists how to work in WordPress or JavaScript, but this was a whole other level, and it seemed really daunting. And while great news organizations like Frontline and the New York Times may have the resources and the talent to work in that area, what about all the small newsrooms out there and the journalism schools? So we wanted to figure out, is there anything we can do to help address that problem? And the students in computer science and engineering who knew Unity said, well, we think we could take a crack at trying to develop open source managed plugins to Unity that would maybe take small steps towards some kind of WordPress for VR. So we started pretty modestly, and you'll see our video. We basically said, let's just start with trying to develop a plugin that allows anyone to import 360-degree spherical video and then, with relative ease, edit it, add text, graphics for context, 3D models, basically to create as much of an immersive, interactive experience we can without you needing to know any scripting. So if you can play the video quickly, if you can play our video, and then I'll talk about sort of the challenges and next steps. And then we're going to need volume.
Virtual reality has been around for decades. Until recently, though, it was ill-suited for mass media. Headsets were bulky, very expensive, and unavailable to the average consumer. Dedicated camera systems did not even exist. But now, for less than $2,000, you can buy a camera system and a headset capable of producing and viewing interactive, immersive stories. One big barrier remains. To fully post-produce and enhance an immersive story, a journalist must have computer programming and applications expertise, rare in all but the most tech-savvy newsrooms. Our prototype is a step towards solving this problem. The managed plugins we've developed for the Unity 3D game engine do all of the back-end work without the user needing to know a single line of code in C# or Java. We've made it easy to drop in a video and integrate a variety of enhancements, be it text, graphics, or 3D elements. Here's how the prototype works.
So one question you probably have in your mind is, well, why wouldn't you just do that in something like After Effects? And we have had those conversations. We felt like what we're doing has a couple of advantages. One is this interactivity question, that our tool does allow you to get a degree of interactivity that you wouldn't get from just a video rendering engine. And also the idea that it can export as an application, not just as video, and again, has more potential for more immersive context. The next steps are adding the ability to have binaural sound and audio, to have more 3D elements, and to improve the output from our tool to the headsets and other platforms. One problem that we did encounter was when we were working with video that was longer than about 45 seconds, we were finding real problems with how the tool was working. So we had to use a workaround where we basically have now a plugin for our plugin using AV Pro. So we're working on sort of a licensing issue there. But we hope to work out the bugs we have and have some newsrooms and hopefully journalism schools start to try to use it by the end of summer. Thank you.